Hello everyone, so welcome to another video about the Christian meaning behind 21 Pilots. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm going to do Doubt today because that's personally one of my favorite songs at the moment. I really enjoy it, I really enjoy the lyrics, and I hope that you guys enjoy, and let me know if you do, and if you want another video like this, let me know. So personally, I feel like Doubt is about exactly what it says it's about. It's about doubting. I think in this video, Tyler is doubting his religion a little bit. He's doubting his faith. He's doubting God and his ability to help him in his issues. I think it goes back to him having his, mental issues that he had. And I think that it's really important. It's actually a really good, important song because a lot of people in the faith have doubts, and they have a lot of issues that, it's kind of unspoken. You can't really talk about them unless, you just want the generic answer. And I think Tyler is really, really outspoken in the song. He really talks about how he's, his insecurities and his doubts with, the faith in himself. So the first bit of the lyrics is, scared of my own image, scared of my own immaturity, scared of my own ceiling, scared I'll die of uncertainty, fear might be the death of me, fear leads to anxiety, don't blah, blah, blah. Don't know what's inside of me, don't forget about me, don't forget about me, don't forget about me, even when I doubt you. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I'm no good without you, no. So, that was a mouthful. Anyways, so I think the beginning of this is obviously, like I said, it's Tyler's insecurity. He's talking about, he's scared of himself. He's scared of who he's become. He's scared of, he's got a lot of anxiety. He's got a lot of doubts in his mind right now just about himself and about who he is and his identity, I think. And then, of course, that's the first little bit. And then he says, don't forget about me when I doubt you. I'm no good without you. So there, I think he's directly talking to God. I think he's saying, like, just, in this time that I'm going through, when I'm feeling the fear and the anxiety and everything that I'm going through, and I'm questioning you, I feel like poor Tyler's probably gone through a lot with, just his identity in Christ and who he is, and, how come God's not helping him in these situations he's been in. I feel I can personally relate to that. He's going through a really rough time, and he's trying to figure it out, but he just can't. He's calling out, and it ties into a lot of different songs, but I think Doubt is directly about that. I'm no good without you, no. So clearly he's basically saying he knows that God is, he's there, and he knows that he's going to help him through this time. However, he is doubting. He is really doubting his faith, and he's really doubting about, his identity in Christ and his own identity, I think. So it's kind of a difficult thing for him to figure out, and like I said, I can relate. So then he goes on to talk about, temperatures dropping, temperatures rising, or oh my gosh, I'm a horrible fan. Temperatures dropping. I'm not sure if I can see this ever stopping. Shaking hands with the dark parts of my thoughts, no. And then he says, you're all that I've got, no. So I think at that point, just a quick sidestep, he's basically, the dark parts of his thoughts are probably his anxiety, and maybe he was at one point having dark thoughts about killing himself or things like that. So he's thinking deeply about them. However, he doesn't know what to do, and he's saying, you are all that I've got. So basically at that point, I think faith is all that he has, God is all he has, but he doesn't know how to break out from that and just call it to God and ask him for help directly, because he's having trouble with that. So, gnawing on the bishops, draw away or claw away at their system, repeating simple phrases, someone wholly insisted. And then, when the mark's made on my skin to mean something to me again, hope you haven't left without me, hope you haven't left without me, please. That is probably, to me, that sounds like he's kind of upset about the whole religious system, how it's got all these rules and it's got all these things that don't really make sense to him, and he's trying to figure it out. Claw our way up this system is kind of like, that to me sounds like he's basically trying to figure it all out, and he's trying to get up the system. He's trying to figure out the rules, and he's trying to figure out how he can relate to it. Repeating simple phrases, someone wholly insisted, so that sounds like someone wholly insisted, so someone of power in the religious terms. Maybe a pastor or someone, was repeating. It is quite repeating sometimes in religious things that like people talk about, saying the Lord's Prayer over and over again, or like things like that. Sometimes that gets a little repetitive, a little bit dull, and I think he's probably kind of confused about that, where to go with that, and what does that mean to him? This is one of my favorite lyrics in the song. So, when the mark is made on my skin to mean something to me again, hope you haven't left without me, hope you haven't left without me, please. I think that's a direct contact towards his tattoos that he has. Obviously, mark is made on my skin, so, that could be anything at this point. However, I think for him that means his tattoos that he got, like you've seen the one on his shoulder of the cross, and then he's got the one with the different symbols on his arm, and there's cross on that too, to mean something to him again. So I think to him his tattoos are reminders of his time in that he had the bad times in the past. They're supposed to remind him of those, and to remind him to keep looking and to keep searching for what means something to him personally, which I think to him his faith in God really helped him out of the trials and the troubles that he's gone through. But I think that, I love that. Like, that means so much to me as well, because I'm like, if I get a tattoo, it would have to mean something. And then, of course, he continues on and talks about, like, same thing, hope you haven't left without me, hope you haven't left without me, please. And then it goes back to the chorus again. But yeah, hope you haven't left without me is basically just the same. He's like, in this time of doubt, I hope you haven't left without me. I hope that, God doesn't forget him or me. I think, in the time of doubt, we all think that, like, if you walk away from the faith, that he might not remember you, or he might kind of disown you as his child. And I think Tyler's thinking that as well. He's probably thinking that God might leave him, and he might, not think of him as his child anymore, kind of thing. And I think to him that in this time, in his time of doubt, in this time of, questioning and things like that, there's always those kinds of thoughts that come up. So I think it's really important for him to just continue and just keep going in his faith. And I think that's what kind of pulled him out of his dark time. So that's what I thought of behind the lyrics of the song. Now I'm just going to throw a few scriptures in and see what happens. So the Psalms, I think this song kind of reminded me of the Psalms a little bit, because in the Psalms, David, he wrote all the Psalms, and he went and he was left out for many, 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 many years to try and figure out who he was, his identity, and he felt crap, he felt horrible, I imagine he probably felt suicidal at times, and he was kind of in a horrible place in his life, and he was trying to figure out who God was and who he was in his own identity. And he was left in his caves, and he was writing, and he was singing songs, and he was trying to figure out, but many times it talks about him calling out to God and God not answering him, and him becoming even more frustrated by that. And I think that kind of ties into the song a little bit more, because he is directly calling out to God and asking for help, but God is not answering at the moment, because he needs to figure it out for himself at that moment. He needs to figure out his identity in Christ, and he needs to figure out who he is. And I think that kind of directly ties into the song Doubt, just because it is both directly related to doubting God. I think that is a really important thing. So just quickly mention James 1:6 about let him ask in faith with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. So that to me reminds me of the song again, because it talks about, if you doubt, you're going to be kind of in a very tough place, and it's going to be difficult to find yourself and find God again. So I think that kind of relates to the song. Another one is Matthew 21:21. And Jesus said to them, truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to the mountain, be shaken up and thrown into the sea, it will happen. So that's what happens when you do not have any doubt. You will have enough faith that moves mountains and, trusts and just is plummeting you into your destiny, basically. So I think past times Tyler wrote that song about you know, him having the doubt and not being able to figure out what he wants and who he's going to become in life. And I think in that this was probably before 21 Pilots. He probably wrote the song because of that. He probably wrote the song because he didn't have any faith. He didn't know where he was going with the music, and probably at that time he said in the past he was frustrated by, how long it took them to get to where they are now, and I think that probably ties into that. So now that he has that, I'm sure he's found his faith, and I'm sure that he's in a good place now, but I think that probably was where that came into play. So I know I only did a few verses, but I'm gonna just leave it at that for now because that's all what I have time for today. But I'll just leave you with a really good verse, which kind of, if you're feeling like you're doubting your faith, I am in the same position as you sometimes. Everyone goes through this. It's just part of being a faithful person, and everyone has doubts, everyone has these fears, and everyone kind of has the moments of going downhill. Just be continuously faithful. Personally, I'm going through one of those things right now, and I'm trying to figure it out for myself, but one thing I've learned is Proverbs 3:5. I counter that verse as my own. It just says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. So exactly as it says, just trust in the Lord, do not lean on your own understanding, try not to doubt, try not to let yourself get into that feeling of doubting and feeling of unbelief, because that doesn't help you in life. It just makes you feel worse. So trust in the Lord, continuously trust, and I know you will get out of the place that you're in. And if anyone needs anything to talk about, if you're feeling this way, if you're feeling the way that Tyler felt, or me, you can message me directly on YouTube or whatever. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit longer. If you have any requests for future Christian lyrics, behind the lyrics, I know someone requested Stressed Out. I don't know if I'll be able to do that one. I'll try to find like parallels to Christianity in that one if I can, because clearly we all know, we do know what that song's about, which is doesn't really have that much of a Christian meaning. However, I will try. If not, though, I will do something else. So just let me know if there's any other ones, because there are a lot. I've done one from Vessel, I've done this one from Blurryface now, so I'm going to do a few from other albums. So let me know if you have any personal requests, because I do enjoy these videos. I really love to hear people's feedback on the video, so leave a constructive comment if you have one. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!